It's time for Quote Review. Quote Review is the rubric where I share and discuss my favorite quotes that you could apply to your daily life in favor of becoming more inspired and driven to make massive changes in your life. Today's quote is going to be related directly to our topic, and it is, if you want to be successful, surround yourself with people who are more successful than you are, but if you want to be happy, surround yourself with people who are less successful than you are. It means that if you want to thrive in business or something like that, you have to mess around people who are more experienced than you are, so you could absorb the information that will help you become successful. However, the next part of the quote, if you want to be happy, surround yourself with people who are less successful than you are, that's totally true because simple people who don't earn millions of dollars, who are living a frugal life, they will be glad to be always with you, spend their spare time, and they actually can make you happier because they emit rays of positivity and happiness that will always keep your mood up. There was a highly popular expression, when people say the way you behave relies on the circle of people you're in. If you're in society where people drink and impose it to you, more likely you will do the same. If you're around entrepreneurs, athletes, you will be happy and sustainable. Everything is about society. Wake up, pronounce this quote, and act according to it. This was today's quote, and now let's move forward to the main topic, which is, what are the odds of becoming successful? Welcome to Listen to Advance, the podcast where you will gain lots of information accompanied by a powerful strike of motivation to raise your butt out of a couch and start advancing your life beyond recognition. There is a number of people dreaming of having unconcerned and decent life. This is what we usually call successful life. If you ask a kid who you want to be in your future, what kind of future are you willing to have as you grow up, most of the kids will answer, I want to be a successful person, to be able to sustain my family, parents, have an opportunity to buy anything you want, whether it is a bunch of sweets or something bigger like car or residence. And I thought, what are the real odds of becoming successful? What should people do to enhance their chances to thrive in life? Of course, the meaning of success may vary from person to person because somebody say that being successful is having lots of money, others say that family is priceless, others talk about health. But let's be realistic, guys. Most people equate money to success, and there is nothing bad about it. Money has been a staple resource that helps us living in a better way. If you lack money, you won't buy chemicals, you won't have a house or even a vacation in Miami. So money is a basement of our lives that opens up a huge spectrum of opportunities to live better. And nobody can argue with that unless you were born in the jungle with bears like Mowgli. So in this episode, you will figure out what are the odds of becoming successful in any area and how to enhance them. Let's do this. First things first, it is almost impossible to say the exact percentage of becoming successful. Success is not a simple thing. It is not gambling on red or black in casino. It is something bigger and more complicated. The reason why it is hard to determine it is generally because it depends on the amount of people who have the same dream. So if there are millions of people who dream to become a professional designer and work in Google, but how many decide to look beyond that day job? How many dare to take that next step? Statistically, it estimates to 5%. So only 5% of these millions will have a real desire to work on themselves and succeed. Because there are many people, and I've seen it myself, who make year resolutions and dream and pray to the God to have only good life, but don't do anything for getting that. They are hoping that it will drop on their heads and they will have this successful life that they have dreamt of. Yeah, sure, sometimes people achieve heights due to mere coincidence or any independent help from people, or they were born in a wealthy family. But I don't think you should stay in one place and hope that any miracle will land in your life. This is such a silly move to rely on luck. And in this case, your chances to become successful drops down immediately. You know, relying on luck, only on luck, will lead to delusive life without any achievements. It turns out that now we are down to tens of thousands. Looking slightly better, isn't it? But still, we are not done yet. This is not everything required to become successful. There are other factors that contribute to that. If we want to stand out from these thousands of people, we have to develop characteristics and traits that nobody has. In other words, we have to develop uniqueness and other sort of mindset. If you ask a billionaire, what is the key to having successful business, they will say your mindset. Take Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, for example. Everyone didn't want to comply with common rules that the rest of the society had and tried to impose them. They were going against the system because they thought the other way. They thought of something that nobody thought of at that time. Now, if your dad was a number cruncher, you have to follow his steps, you have to graduate from school as he did, and work diligently on the government to have a good elderly. If you want to be a slave of a government, then go ahead. But I don't want to achieve heights in 60s. I do want to do that in my 20s. Mark Zuckerberg founded Facebook at the age of 20 in 2004, and since then became the biggest social net that ever existed. These stories are testaments to their incredible mindset that changes and drives the rest of the people to make changes. And I'm sure everybody can do the same. It is not about scale of your business, but it is about scale of your mindset first. The mindset doesn't pop up instantly. It is a slow and methodical thing that you have to foster gradually. It is comprised by many things. Confidence, motivation. I have talked about all of them in the previous episodes, so make sure to check them out to be more aware of them. But I think there is also a very important thing, which is creativity. What is creativity? As Google says, it is the use of imagination or original ideas to create or invent something. But why it is so crucial in building up your career, specifically in business? It helps you make up extraordinary ideas and then produce them in real actions. So if you have a developed creativity, chances are you will create something incredibly cool that nobody has ever seen. As Maria Popova said, creativity is a combinatorial force. It's our ability to tap into our inner pool of resources, knowledge, insight, information, inspiration, and all of the fragments populating our minds that we have accumulated over the years just by being present and alive and awake to the world, and to combine them in extraordinary new ways. Alright, now we know that creativity is good and can be applied in your life to be successful. But is it possible to develop it? Is there any way to do that? Yes, there is. Creativity begins with a foundation of knowledge, learning a discipline, and mastering a way of thinking. You can learn to be creative by experimenting, exploring, questioning assumptions, using imagination, and analyzing information. Learning to be creative is akin to learning a sport. It requires practice to develop the right muscles of your mind. Studies by Clayton M. Christensen and his researchers uncovered the innovator's DNA. Your ability to generate innovative ideas is not merely a function of the mind, but also a function of 5 key behaviors that optimize your brain for discovery. Number 1, associating. Drawing connections between questions, problems, or ideas from unrelated fields. Number 2, questioning. posing questions that challenge common wisdom. Number 3, observing. Scrutinizing the behavior of customers, suppliers, and competitors to identify new ways of doing things. Number 4, networking. Meeting people with different ideas and perspectives. And lastly, experimenting. Constructing interactive experiences and provoking unorthodox responses to see what insights emerge. These are the scientifically proved ways of how to develop your creativity, so keep that in mind if you want to do so. I'd like to share with you one of the things that I do regularly, and that's writing down different projects that strike me. Whatever they are, it can be something truly insane or miraculous. I, for one, have an idea of glasses that will help you see bacteria in the atmosphere and identify whether they are harmful or not to be able to evade them. Sounds crazy, right? But I think it will be very, very awesome if scientists invented it. Anyway, by putting such ideas on a paper, I can develop my creativity simply because I think unusually. Not like everyone. Also, one of the biggest things that will boost up your chances in becoming successful is making meaningful relationships. Talk to entrepreneurs, read their books, watch videos, surround yourself with successful environment. Because most successful people were getting information from people who were more successful than them. Recall that quote that I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. This is the same situation that happens in families. Parents teach their kids how to act in certain situations because they came through it and have a richer experience. The same thing is in business. If you have any obstacle, ask yourself, has anyone else in the history of time, less intelligent or less driven, figured this out? Chances are the answer is yes. Always try to find the example of person who came through the same thing, and maybe his tools will help you do it as well. Now we are getting to the finish line of what are the odds of becoming successful. It turns out that if you do all of these things, your circle of people who do the same will shrink down to hundreds of people, and you will have a really big chance of letting your dreams come true. All of the aspects like confidence, creativity, self-discipline are located in this exact podcast to help you build your cake of successful life with your reason. Stay tuned for more to not miss further tips upon advancing your life. You can do it via subscription to our podcast and sharing it with people. Have a good day to advance your life, my dear listeners. This was the end of episode number 7. If you liked it, click on the subscribe button and share it with your friends to let them know about this life-changing podcast. You can also drop us a comment down below. I would be very glad for doing so. And to remind you, new episodes are published on Monday, so don't miss it.